And you've included a couple of songs here as part of the episode. The first one here has kind of been career defining, in my opinion. This is "Lucky Me." Tell us about this song.
Lucky Me came about, and I've told this story. I almost always have to introduce, when I play the song live, I almost always have to tell a little bit of the story because it should be an encouragement to anybody who's doing what we do, who is, struggling and trying to figure out how to write songs, how to have a career doing this. But I had been invited to a seminar in Nashville, and it was by invitation only. And it was, they had heard my work, and it was a pitch to publisher meeting or songwriter search, I think they called it at the time. And it was three very well known men in Nashville, who are still very active and very well known in Nashville to this day, 20 years later, because this happened in October of 2025. So we're coming up on 20 years. So I went to the seminar. I played songs that weren't ready. I basically had all the doors that I thought were going to open, the publishing deal I thought I might get, or at least just open doors into these guys' offices, all slammed shut loudly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really, there are two things. I was very disappointed and I was really mad at myself because I felt like I had blown this opportunity. So I was on a comp ticket from a friend who flew for American, and I could go standby. So I went to the airport about 3 or 4 hours early in Nashville, and I just thought I want to get out of town, and very discouraged, tail between my legs. And for some reason at the ticket counter, there was a guy in line next to me. I had never spoken to a man in uniform or a woman in uniform before. And this guy standing there in his army camo. And I just don't know why, but I struck up a conversation with him and just said, "Where are you going?" And he said, "I'm headed back to the Middle East." And that told me that it was not his first tour. And then he said, "Well, where are you headed?" And I just told him, I hung my head and I said, "Well, I'm going home," because that was my mood at the time. Normally I would have said Dallas or Texas, but I just said, "No, I'm going home." Um, and he just looked at me and he said, "Lucky you." And I really believe it was a God ordained appointment. I think I was supposed to be in town that weekend to meet that guy on his way to Iraq. Um, I was not there to impress a bunch of publishers. The cool thing about that song is I didn't touch that idea for 2 years. So I knew right away it was a song idea. I think it was maybe the end of 2007 when I finally sat down with a yellow legal pad and I just wrote the whole song lyric out. I'm a big rewriter, so it went through a few revisions, and there are a couple of different versions out there on YouTube, but it all poured out. The whole story poured out. That whole second verse, I didn't, where it says, "I stood there silent and all I heard, um, echoing from his two words were all the things he didn't say." And I didn't even figure that out till I sat down to write the song. Um, anyway, I did a demo of it, and my sister put a video to it. And this is now, by the time it went through these revisions and I kind of felt like I had it in a good place, was 2010. And she put it up on YouTube and it began to go viral, and people, viral in a minimal sense. I mean, viral for me, but people began sharing it and sending it to Hannity and Oprah and Ellen and all the talk show hosts. Huckabee, nobody responded. Um, and then I went and played it for an event with the Houston Texans, the football team, for a veterans event they did. And somebody there knew Mike Huckabee personally. So the next thing I know, the video is being sent to Mike. Within a few days, I got a call from his producers. Within a week, I was being flown to New York to sing it for Veterans Day. And then it really did blow up. So the song is a true story. It comes from a real experience. It comes from disappointment and heartache. And yet the places it has taken me and the places it has reached are far greater than anything I could have imagined when I first went up to Nashville for that pitch to publisher thing. So it's really, I don't know, it's like one of those stories that I never get tired of telling. But that's the story behind Lucky Me. A lot of people ask me, have I ever met this soldier? And no, I haven't. I'm pretty sure he was out of Fort Campbell. I vaguely remember what he looked like. But he gave me a gift that day of kind of turning my head around and saying, aren't we lucky that we're not the ones headed over there, that we have our freedom and don't take it for granted. And I feel like that's what that song says to our military community.
And I'm glad you shared it with us today too, because it's such a huge song for you. It kind of identifies who you are as a story singer, and I can't wait to talk about all of that stuff too. But guys, here's "Lucky Me" by Helene Cronin. Y'all check it out.
I stood in line beside a soldier at the airport ticket counter. We were catching flights in Tennessee. We made a little easy conversation. I asked his destination, another tour of duty in the Middle East. Then he asked me where I was headed to. When I answered home, he just said, "Lucky you." And I thought, lucky me, he's right. I sleep in my own bed at night. I got everything I need and more, all that he gave up to wear that uniform. Lucky me, while he fights a war, I live the life he's fighting for. He is the brave, I am the free. Lucky me. Oh, I stood there silent, and all I heard, echoing from his two words, were all the things he didn't say. That he's lonely and scared, battle-scarred, family back home praying hard. He never knows if he'll see another day. But he held up his head and looked me in the eye. And right there in those two words, I could hear a soldier's pride. And I thought, lucky me, he's right. I sleep in my own bed at night. I got everything I need and more, all that he gave up to wear that uniform. Lucky me, while he fights a war, I live the life he's fighting for. He is the brave, I am the free. Oh, lucky me. Oh, I tried to thank him before we parted ways, but the best I could do was a tear rolling down my face. Lucky me, that's right. Freedom comes at a heavy price, and we don't all pay our equal share or know what it's like over there. Lucky us, the ones at home, while others go to the battle zones. They are the brave, we are the free. Lucky you, oh lucky me. Lucky you, lucky me.